Justin Smith here, the scouting and recruiting analyst of Touchdown Alabama magazine. Thank you guys so much for joining me today as I am here to provide you guys with some breaking news as the Tide just picked up their 17th commit in the 2021 recruiting class. This time a commitment comes from four-star defensive end Monkell Goodwine out of National Christian Academy in Maryland. He becomes the Tide's fourth prospect who is verbally committed to them, who is expected to play along the defensive front. When you look at the Tide having commitments from four-star defensive end and outside linebacker Dallas Turner, along with commitments from five-star defensive tackle Damon Payne and three-star defensive tackle Anquin Barnes. Goodwine joins that particular group as the Tide will look to turn more of their attention to the defensive line group moving forward in this 2021 recruiting cycle. Looking back at Goodwine's recruitment, it is no surprise that he picked the Tide today, as they have been involved in his recruitment for more than a year. They offered him in March of 2019, was able to get him on campus 2 months later in June of 2019, and was able to see him in a camp setting. He also got a chance to go one-on-one with some of the top prospects at that particular camp. Nick Saban and the Tide's outside linebacker coach Salson Siri were very impressed with Goodwine's effort at that particular camp. Also, Goodwine got a chance to go one-on-one with Nick Saban at that camp as well, and that built the groundwork for the relationship that they have continued to build throughout his recruitment. Nick Saban, the Tide's outside linebacker coach Salson Siri, and the Tide's running back coach Charles Huff have been in heavy contact with Goodwine throughout his recruitment. Looking at Goodwine's recruitment here, the Tide has always been a team that he was considering. When he released his top 8, the Tide were included. When he released his top 5, they were included again. He even readjusted his top 5 and included teams like Clemson, Kentucky, and also Arizona State. But the Tide and Texas A&M were the two teams that stayed involved in his recruitment throughout. So I'm not surprised that the Tide has picked up a commitment from him. They have been consistent in their contact. He told me in our last conversation with the last interview I did with him before he committed here in June, he told me that he loved the Tide's coaching staff. So I'm not surprised that the Tide picked up his commitment on today. Looking at Goodwine, this is a huge pickup for the Tide also because of what Goodwine brings to the table. You are looking at a kid who stands at 6'4" and weighs 265 pounds. He is a relentless edge rusher, a kid who's not afraid to take on blocks, a kid who has great closing speed. I think the most impressive thing about his game is his ability and his willingness to attack the football when the ball and the play is directed away from him. I really like his relentlessness you see on his highlight film throughout it. He's not afraid to go after the play when it is a broken play, not afraid to attack the football down the field as well. So you really like to see that out of a defensive prospect, a kid who does not stop playing until the whistle is blown. You also see on his highlight film, he falls on the ground a couple of times, but he gets up and still tries to go after the football, not stopping until he hears that whistle blows. So I really like that about Goodwine, one of the more relentless edge rushers in the 2021 recruiting class. So another great addition for the Tide here in Monkell Goodwine. Be sure to check out all of our coverage on his commitment. Also, I got a chance to break down some other guys the Tide will look at the defensive line group moving forward in this 2021 recruiting cycle. This may not be the only good news the Tide gets today, as Kyrie Jackson, a four-star defensive back, a JUCO product out of East Mississippi Community College, is expected to announce his commitment on today as well. But as always, I am Justin Smith, the scouting and recruiting analyst for Touchdown Alabama magazine.